It's that Badger style.
You've had first-hand experience of coaching in the Caribbean. You were in charge of the Jamaica Tallawahs, weren't you, in one of the Caribbean Premier League? I interviewed you just prior, I think, to that tournament, and you're excited about going out there. You did really well.
Yeah, I had a great time over there. I loved it. It was a brilliant challenge, whole new vibe of T20 cricket in the West Indies. I enjoyed being part of the whole information gathering, getting ready for the draft. Having your various teams picked in the draft, because if you've got 6 or 7 franchises and your last pick, for instance, then the team that you want to pick, everybody else picks it, and you've got to have backup plans and backup plans and backup plans, which is a great challenge as a coach and as a management group. So it's got an amazing vibe over there. The West Indian, they call it the biggest party in sport, which no question is. Amazing competition to be part of. So many wonderful players doing so much good. The guys that come in from around the world, that come into the West Indies, they give so much to the local young West Indian lads, which is brilliant to see. And the competition's gone from strength to strength. It really is, and it's interesting to see this year what happens with its time frame, whether it goes back a little bit or it stays where it is. Sort of August time through to sort of October. Brilliant competition, full of energy. I mean, to think of that being played behind closed doors is absolute chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Yeah. Because it's almost, why would you play it? Because the whole point of that is the carnival, isn't it? The whole point of it.
It is a carnival. Yeah. There's DJs in most stands, there's bands playing. As a player and as a coach, you can hardly hear yourself think on the sidelines because the noise is that much. Sabina Park, when Chris Gayle gets going, there's about 16 or 17,000 people. You cannot hear yourself. You can't talk to the guy next to you. It's so noisy.
I'd love for you to tell me what it's like to actually coach Chris Gayle. Can you coach Chris Gayle, or is he just a larger-than-life kind of person who just does what he wants?
Chris is a team player. He's passionate. He's, when you hear him speak in a team meeting, his knowledge of other players is very good. He's meticulous in knowing himself and his movements. He goes through routines before games of throwdowns, how he likes to prepare, and he gets his game away from the cricket ground. Is the Universe Boss, he calls himself, and he has his fun, vivacious life. He's Chris Gayle, the businessman, with his restaurants and his clothing ranges, etc. And he's very successful, and is a brilliant ambassador, and is for Jamaica. You go into his bar, he's always saying hello to everybody. He's got time for everybody, pictures and signatures, and looking after people with birthday cakes and certain events and all that. Fantastic. But then when it comes to game time, then he switches on, and a different man who's a winner. And his record is unbelievable in white ball cricket, absolutely incredible. And he hits the cricket ball harder and further than I've ever known anybody. Andre Russell comes close to Chris, but when Chris is in full flow and hitting the ball hard, the nearest thing is like a golf ball coming off a golf club compared to when I actually fear for people when Chris is batting. I fear for him hitting it back at the bowler or the umpire or close fielders, because he hits it so hard. It is, you have to see it in real life to believe it. It's so powerful.
Did you, as coach, ever have to call him out or disagree with him on anything? Because I'm not sure I would. I think that's probably why I'm not a coach. But he's such a larger than life figure and so kind of famous in cricket. I think I'd just probably let him get away with it.
Listen, senior players like that who have been around the game, they know it. They know their jobs. They know what it takes. They know what they've got to do, and that's part of the team. Chris enjoys being in part of the team. He's the same guy. He's pretty consistent as a blog. Yes, you've got to, I think it's healthy to disagree at times, because then you get to the right answer. There's a few times we've disagreed, but that's part of the gig. You've got, I know Chris doesn't like having too many meetings. He's not a huge meeting man. He's done all his preparation, his mindset beforehand. But then you've got other guys who are very systematic and analytical and who want to have that perfectionist attitude of preparation. So, you've got Sangakkara, who wants to see the slow ball from each angle, from front on, from the back on. When does he ball it? What time does he ball it? Does he ball it outside off stump? Does he ball it straight? Those guys would have a meeting for an hour and a half if they could, where Chris is done, 5 minutes is done. So you have to prepare for everybody. Yeah. So, a team, we do, not certainly in the Caribbean Premier League, but in county cricket, we do a lot of profiling, personal profiling. We look at the way people act, the way people interact, people's goals, how they are, and we try and cater for every need so that the ship, keeps sailing well, and we're all aligned, and that's that's the important thing. So, we've got to keep it all stable and consistent, and so then we can be driving our games forward. So yeah, it's a great challenge. And there's a lot of different characters in the pot which you need. There's a lot of different pieces in that jigsaw you've got to get right. Sometimes you don't get them all right, but as long as you get the majority right, then you're going to be successful.
There's very few people in the world could get away with calling themselves the Universe Boss, but he seems to do that, doesn't he? And that it's just because he's a bit larger than life. I think that's the persona he's got, isn't it?